Hello, my name is Emma and I am here today with special author guest Jennifer Mathieu.
Hello, hi.
Thank you so much for joining me at the Brooklyn Book Festival. I'm extremely excited for the release of Moxie, which just recently came out this September 19th.
Yay, I'm excited too.
I'm sure you are. So as we are here for the release of Moxie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's about in your own words?
Sure. So Moxie tells the story of 16-year-old Vivian Carter, who starts a feminist revolution at her small town Texas high school to combat the sexist culture there. She's inspired by her mother's Riot Girl past. So if you don't know Riot Girl, that was a feminist movement from the early 90s, from my time. And so Vivian decides to sort of start this Moxie movement inspired by the zines and the music of the Riot Girl time. And so she creates this little zine, this little homemade fanzine magazine that she calls Moxie, and she distributes it anonymously in the bathrooms, the girls' bathrooms at her school. And it just takes off, and girls start claiming the Moxie title for themselves, and it kind of gets out of Vivian's hands, and then the Moxie girls are forced to make some tough choices. But it's a book that I am enormously proud of, and I cannot wait for it to get out into the world. I feel like I'm 10 months pregnant with this. So I am ready for Vivian and her. I'm ready for Vivian and all the other Moxie girls to make their way into the world.
I'm so ready for it too. Did you dye your hair in honor of Moxie?
I dyed my hair Moxie pink. I did. I love the cover so much. A woman at Macmillan named Beth Clark designed it, and I remember when my editor Kate sent it to me, it was like right away. I was like, this is it.
That's so great. That's so great.
Yes.
So what inspired you to write a novel that is so focused on feminism and girl empowerment?
So I was thinking of what I wanted my next book to be about, and I'm not one of these writers that has a million plot ideas. Like those writers, I'm like, who are those people? Like, you know, I'm lucky if I can get one good idea a year, which is, I think, hopefully, I guess all you really need if you're gonna keep writing. So I was just thinking about, I have this like rule that I try to write about the things that I'm just obsessed with or interested in, you know, be it small towns. I've written about religion and faith. That's also something that's interesting to me. And feminism is something that, since I was a teenager, has been something really important to me. And the Riot Girl culture especially meant a lot to me when I was growing up in the 90s. And so I had initially thought I could write a book like set in the 90s, like a Riot Girl book, but I'm like, oh, that'll be historical fiction. It's kind of hard for me to accept that that's historical fiction, but it is, you know? So I was like, I wanted to write a Riot Girl novel. Like that was really the inspiration, that movement. And then it just kind of hit me how I could sort of make it fresh and make it now by having the mom be the Riot Girl.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So that's how it happened. Yeah.
That's so great. So speaking of Riot Girls, was there like a specific like research sort of process that you had to go through to pull from the Riot Girl movement? I know you said that you experienced it, or even just the abundance of intersectional feminism. Is there like a lot of research that you did for the novel, or did it just like pour out of you?
You know, I love to do research. So my last book afterward, I did a lot of research on healing from trauma, and I interviewed like a million experts, and like I was like to the point I was like, okay, I've got to stop researching and actually write this book. But Moxie, the research was really just going back into my own memories. I had Riot Girl zines that I dug out of my own closet.
Oh my goodness, that is so precious.
Yeah, I started listening to all this this Riot Girl music that I had listened to when I was younger. So it was really just kind of digging in that way. I did, there's a book called Girls to the Front by a writer named Sarah Marcus that talks about the Riot Girl movement. It's sort of a historical overview of that time. And I had read it just for fun a few years before, so I dug that out again and took a look at that.
Oh, that's so great.
The research was really just, this is the easiest book to research.
Just diving back into your
Just diving back into my own memories, exactly.
That's so great. So I personally consider Viv an immensely powerful character.
I'm glad.
So are there any other ladies of literature that you find to be very inspirational, or maybe that you drew inspiration from for Viv?
For Viv, well, I always say my like favorite feminist hero is Anne of Green Gables, which is going way back. It's a favorite of my editors too. So you know, when I was young and I was reading those Anne of Green Gables books, she just always amazed me. Like she just spoke her mind and did what she wanted to do in a time where women really even more than today, really didn't always have those opportunities. So I don't know, Anne of Green Gables is up there for me. I do want to plug, there's a book coming out next month called The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of that one.
And it's, I feel like if Moxie had a twin sister, it would be The Nowhere Girls. And it's a similar story. It's very different in its own way. But I read that galley as I was getting ready for Moxie to come out, and I was like, oh, this is just such an inspiring book. So if you liked Moxie, I think you'll like The Nowhere Girls
so
also.
If you like this, then
yes,
if
you like this, you like that. Yeah.
So as Moxie is not your first novel, you've written quite a few works in the past. Is there anything different about this experience of writing Moxie, or of, just being published in 2017? Is there any significant differences in the experiences you've had along your works?
I think that my other books have been a little, I don't want to say heavier, because I think that Moxie is touching on some really important themes.
Absolutely.
But Moxie is my first romance, and I'm not sure if the word is lighter or more joyful. I tackle some edgier, heavier things in my first 3 books, healing from trauma, slut shaming, abuse, and I always ended those books with hopeful endings. So I think all my books share that same hope and that same joy at the end. With Moxie, there was just a little bit more of that pulsing through the entire story, because as Vivian and the Moxie girls find their strength and, start to fight back, it was just like the whole story. It was such a fun book to write. There were moments when I was writing my other books where I'm like, oh, this is so heavy, I need to take a break. With the Moxie girls, I was like, oh, I could just write them forever. They're just fun characters to be with.
Absolutely. So I have so many favorite scenes in this book.
Oh,
like so many. So were there any ones that you you were just like, this is so much fun to write? Are there any scenes that you particularly loved creating?
There's a scene, without giving too much away if you haven't read the book, there's a scene at the VFW hall. There's a meetup, and that was a lot of fun to write. That was just having all the girls together. I also really loved writing the scenes with the character of Lucy Hernandez.
I love Lucy.
I love Lucy too. I love Lucy. So Lucy is a character who moves to this little town from Houston, and so she kind of brings her big city ideas, and she'd been a member of the feminist club at her old high school, and Vivian's like, our school wouldn't even have a feminist. Like, what are you talking about? And so Lucy was just such a fun character, and so any scene, especially with Lucy and Viv, as they got to become friends, those were a lot of fun to write too.
Yeah, that's so great. If you love girls supporting girls, especially that VFW hall scene, it's fabulous.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. That was just so much fun to write.
I can tell. It was just all the Moxie inspired events were just the best feelings to read.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you think that, Emma.
So since I know that you are an English teacher, have any of your students in the past, or even now with the release of Moxie, have they ever read your books or expressed interest in reading them? I just think that's such an interesting dynamic to have, whoa, there's a published author in my room.
I know, it's funny, and I'm very open with the kids. I tell them, in fact, I'm missing school to go on tour to promote Moxie, so they know, I'm very open with my kids about this other career that I have. I teach under my married name, so they don't always make the connection. It's a super supportive school, and so my principal and administration, and they are my biggest cheerleaders in a lot of ways.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah. That's so wonderful. Yeah. So what is the message that you hope readers walk away with after reading Moxie?
I think for young women especially, I hope that they take from Moxie that living your life as a feminist is a joyful way of living your life. My life as a feminist, living my life as a feminist, has made my life so much better, so much happier. My relationships and friendships with women are authentic, they're not competition based. I feel like I've had these very wonderful friendships with other women who feminism is important to them too, and we support each other. And then I have a wonderful husband who, because he is a feminist also, supports my dreams and supports my ambitions and is an equal partner in raising our son. And so being a feminist it's just made my life happier, better, fuller, and richer. And I would love young women to know that that's really what it means to be a feminist. And I think young men too. Absolutely. I think that gender roles, and I remember my little boy coming home from preschool, and he was worried that he couldn't like the movie Frozen because he was a little boy. And I said, yes, you can love the movie Frozen. So boys get these messages too. And so I hope that any guys that want to pick up Moxie can take from it something positive as well.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah. So I just have like a quick little like lightning round.
Yeah,
just to maybe just like get to know you better as a person as opposed to the wonderful author who wrote Moxie.
Wonderful.
So what are you currently reading? Are you currently reading anything, or have you recently finished anything?
I am currently reading a book by another Macmillan author, Caleb Roaring, Last Seen Leaving, and I'm going to be going on. It's really good. It's very good. I'm halfway through, and I'm going on tour with him in October. So it's super good. Super this mystery, murder mystery. I think it's a murder. It's definitely a mystery. Whether it becomes a murder mystery, I'm not sure. I have to keep reading.
I've heard fantastic things. Yes. It's definitely on my TBR.
Yes.
Do you have any anticipated releases for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year, let me see. Well, definitely The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. Nothing off the top of my head right now.
That is good enough, especially it's so like,
I've been in
relevant.
Moxie world, yes.
So, what was your favorite book as a teen?
As a teenager, I loved The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I reread it a million times, and I got the chance to teach it as a teacher, as an English teacher.
Wonderful.
It was the first book to me that I felt like the teenage characters were full people, and but I always wish that we would have learned more about the greaser girls. So sometimes I think maybe, there's those Outsiders for girls out there somewhere. But I loved The Outsiders. And of course, like I said, Anne of Green Gables. I read that over and over, even as a teenager.
Oh, that's so great. So as an English teacher, are there any specific books or topics that you love to teach?
I love to teach. I like to bring young adult literature into the classroom because we teach Shakespeare, we teach all of the the canon, and kids need to learn those.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. One year I did literature circles, and I had Eleanor and Park and Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLyra and a couple of other books that the kids could read.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I love to try to bring in young adult literature to my class.
That's so great. So while you're reading or even just writing, do you have a go-to like snack, drink, sort of anything that is more like ritualistic to get you into the mood of literature?
Well, lately when I've been writing, I have been making constant comment tea with milk in it. I don't know, I got into this weird habit where I was just like, my husband's a big tea drinker, and so I've started picking up that habit. So constant comment. If you've ever had. As my husband says, you can't stop talking about it. That's the joke because of the name of the tea.
Well, as a tea drinker, I have to check it out.
Yes, it's very good. So I've been drinking hot tea while I write and read lately.
That's great, that's great. And so who would you consider to be your author inspiration?
My author inspiration, it's a long list. Lori Halse Anderson, who I'm actually on the panel with today.
I just met her today. I died.
She is such a legend, and the book Speak, of course, is such a classic and was one of the reasons that I started writing YA. E. Lockhart's books, the Ruby Oliver Quartet, the Boyfriend List, she was also really influential for me in terms of deciding that maybe I could write this kind of fiction.
That's so great that now like you're in the same world.
And I've gotten to be on a panel with her too, so that was really
that's so exciting for you.
My mind has been blown many times since publishing my first book.
Wonderful. So just as a final question, are you working on anything at the moment, whether you can actually say anything about it or not, or like is there anything that we can expect from you in the future?
Yeah, so I am working on a 5th book for Macmillan, and it's set in the 80s.
Right so now. It is historical fiction.
It is historical fiction, and it's about a brother and a sister who are being raised by a single mom. And it's about, I think, I'm like still figuring out how to talk about it, but it's about family, it's about lying, it's about escaping a bad situation. There's a lot going on. It's a brother-sister story.
And
it's set on the Texas Gulf Coast, and I'm really excited. I'm stretching myself as a writer in this project in a way that I haven't, I think, ever. And I'm really excited about it. No title yet. So exciting. No title, no publication date, but I am working on it.
So you haven't picked the title yet, or we just can't know the title yet?
I haven't picked the title yet. It just is book 5.
Just book 5.
Book 5 in my Dropbox. That's what it's called. So we're figuring it out.
I'm very excited for it. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for talking with me today. Definitely check out Moxie. I know you guys are probably sick of me talking about it, but it is so good. I promise you. I've left all of the information below. I've left Jennifer's website and some links to find out more about Moxie, as well as where you can purchase it. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for watching.
And I will see you soon for a new video. Bye.
Bye.